So what is going on, Resident Evil fans? It's your boy Amaziah here, as promised, bringing you guys some more content. As I promised that, of course, I will be covering Resident Evil news, and it's been a while since, of course, I actually made a video for you guys. So let's go ahead and talk about what we actually have here. So the collector's edition of Resident Evil 2 Remake has officially been announced with this first look, and of course it comes from PlayStation Blog. And what they have here is some DLC contents, some pre-order bonus stuff, and of course the pricing. So there will be the renovation blueprints, which pretty much is a blueprint of the new look of the RPD station, which is going to be a huge poster that is going to come with the game. Now you're also going to get a DLC pack voucher, which will have the box art actually on the voucher, and then a digital soundtrack, which is pretty nice. And then of course you will obviously get the game, a collector's edition art book, a Leon S. Kennedy RPD version figure, and then of course an item box packaging. So it's going to all come in an item box, which is pretty fucking cool, with the price of it being $200. Now moving into the DLC pack content, we're going to be getting an original version soundtrack swap. I don't know what that is. I think I know what that is. That's actually to where we'll get the original soundtrack, which is pretty fucking cool. And then there's the Leon Arklay Sheriff costume, and then there's the Noor, and then there's going to be the deluxe weapon Samurai Edge Albert model. So I'm guessing this is going to be Albert Wesker's weapon, or Samurai Edge that Albert Wesker once had. And then of course there's going to be the Claire costume, which is going to be the Elsa Walker costume is going to be in this. That's fucking hype. So then we also have the military costume, her Noor costume, obviously the military being closely tied to Chris Redfield, her brother. And then the pre-order bonuses will be 2 deluxe weapons, a Samurai Edge, the Jill model, and the Chris model, which I'm guessing is going to be the Jill model for Claire and the Chris model for Leon. So I think that that's pretty cool. Of course, they're giving out a pretty powerful fucking weapon at the beginning, but of course that is still pretty cool. Now there was also this promotional image made of Claire, in which it showed off pretty much her full design from the back side, with her facing, of course, us, to give us a view of her face. Now this shows that she's riding on a Harley, and of course the Harley is red, and it's pretty much like a redesign, retake on, of course, how she actually enters the game in the original in Raccoon City when you play on her story mode, in which of course she enters with her bike. And this is an actual cool ass redesign. We can actually still see I think the Firebird, I think that's what it was, on the back of her jacket, which is pretty fucking cool, even though they did change her jacket and they pretty much changed her design overall. I remember she used to wear like those shorts and stuff with like those undergarments and stuff under there, but it was like this, it was like, I guess you could say kind of like this, I wouldn't say leather, but it was kind of like I forgot what would you call them, like some kind of sweatpants, I mean sweat shorts and stuff that was like really cut low, cut high. So definitely they redesigned her. She's now wearing jeans, which definitely gives me the vibe, and I'm pretty sure it gave you guys this vibe as well, that they're trying to stay closer to the Revelations 2 design, I guess, so that way it kind of makes sense that Claire went from looking how she did all the way up to pretty much, you know, the Revelations design, because the Revelations design was a completely different kind of take on Claire, in which of course she sported that jacket, some jeans, and of course it just looked completely different compared to what we've had before. Now Claire has wore jeans before, like Code Veronica, but of course Claire always wore like a vest type of situation. Now she's wearing a jacket and jeans, which is more so dedicated to her newest design, which was in Revelations 2. But moving on from that, we also got the cover art. So the cover art, which was officially shown off on their Twitter, will actually be an image of Leon and Claire standing shoulder to shoulder as a pack of zombies pretty much closes in on them, with the background being the, of course, RPD station, with a few buildings surrounding them, and of course a full scope view of Raccoon City at the bottom, with what appears to be when the nuke actually goes off within the city, as of course there's this huge ass flash of light that seems to be coming off of the center of it. So it does seem like potentially there will be something to do with like the nuke within the actual game itself this time around, because if you remember, if I'm not mistaken, in Resident Evil 2 all of the endings pretty much end right before, of course, the well, I know Resident Evil 2, I believe, is happening around the same time as, of course, Resident Evil 3. I think like halfway through the story of Resident Evil 2 is when the events of Resident Evil 3 happen, in which Jill tries to make her way out of Raccoon City before the nuke reaches the town, or of course before the strike happens. And I think this time around we may actually have something that does engage it, which I think will probably be how they're going to do an opener to Resident Evil 3 Remake, in which Claire and Leon will actually probably witness, of course, after the train ride and stuff out of the town and stuff. I think they will potentially actually witness the nuke, and that will pretty much, you know, be like how they're going to do the opener to Jill. Probably they're going to have like, you know, maybe at the end of it, either they will witness the nuke or potentially Jill will open her eyes and stuff, or of course they will probably do something that kind of ties them in together. We do know that Resident Evil 2 Remake will in some kind of way, form, or fashion involve more of Raccoon City. As we saw with Leon, he was coming in from a different position to the RPD station compared to how he did in the original. So that's definitely something that's already showing that we will be spending a lot more time within Raccoon City. Do I think we'll ever leave the RPD station to go travel into Raccoon City? It's a possibility, but I highly doubt it, as of course the RPD station is where a lot of the story of Resident Evil 2 happens. So of course I definitely do believe that we will be, once we get there, we will stay there. However, it is a potential possibility that we could have like involved with one of those new stories and stuff. As we know from the leaks, there will be a bunch of new stories and stuff with a bunch of new characters, so that way the game doesn't feel like, oh wow, these are the only 2 survivors even all the way up to this point, you know, which kind of felt ridiculous for Resident Evil 2. You know, there will be other stories, so potentially there could be a story to where we will actually have to leave the RPD station and go into Raccoon City to try and traverse through one of these buildings or whatever, or try and get to one of these buildings and navigate the town to actually find something to come back to the RPD station and help somebody out potentially. I think that that would be a potential possibility, although we do know that according to the Resident Evil lore, Jill, Chris, Leon, Claire, Barry, I believe it's those 3, because Wesker is presumably dead at this point, but it's those, no, it's not those 3, it's those 5 that are like the Raccoon City survivors. So definitely I would love to fucking see all of that shit just play out and just have like some scenes and stuff to where we go into Raccoon City that could actually alert Leon and Claire to the events of the nuke or something like that, which will actually be like a hint or Easter egg to Resident Evil 3. So thank you guys for tuning into this video. That's pretty much all of the news that we have right now. I want to get a little bit more timely with bringing you guys Resident Evil 2 news, but this has been your boy Amaziah, and peace the heck